As young women, we face many issues, from the pressures of social media to the expectation of society. We see how these issues affect us and our mental health every day. But what about men?
In present day, there doesn't seem to be much acceptance for men to talk about their feelings and mental health as much as there is for women.
We want to investigate, and what better than to speak to men? All different kinds of men with different kinds of lives on different issues that affect them, asking all sorts about what it's like being a man.
Suicide is the biggest killer in men aged 20 to 49.
But why aren't we talking about it?
We're going to find out.
Okay, we're recording. Are we ready? Let's go.
Hi, I'm Liv.
I'm Natalie.
Hello, I'm Holly.
And we're three female. I am so sorry.
Okay, we're recording. Are we ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Hi, I'm Liv.
I'm Natalie.
And I'm Holly.
And we're three females making a documentary investigating men.
Yeah, in a world where social media, body image, the pressures on women are so advertised, we want to investigate, do these issues also affect men?
Yeah. So we have 4 episodes. We start with body image, then lad culture, masculinity, and then finally a mental health episode, which will sort of encapsulate the previous 3 episodes and see whether these issues do affect men's mental health. So our first episode is body image, and it's something that as women, we definitely have experienced before, but we're not sure whether it's something that men experience too.
Yeah, well, we see plus size women models in the media and we see them on clothing sites and things, but we have like people that we can relate to in the media, but we don't think that men have that, and because we don't see many male plus size models, we want to know why that is.
Yeah. So we're speaking to Chris, who's a young guy. He's very health conscious, quite fit, and we want to see whether his influence of going to the gym is from this man ideal or whether it's not, and we just want to see whether he thinks there are these pressures on men and whether he experiences them himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's find out. So please could you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Chris, I'm 20 and I'm a law student.
So do you exercise a lot?
Yeah, I do. I try to go to the gym at least 4 or 5 times a week.
How long have you been going to the gym for?
Probably a few years now.
What made you decide to start going to the gym?
Multiple reasons. I think a big part of it is physique and to feel more confident in myself. Yeah, it is aesthetics and looks. And also just for general around fitness, for mental well-being, because a big part of it going to the gym for me is to help manage anxiety and mood.
You mentioned that it's kind of a combination for you of health and also physique.
Yeah.
Do you think there's an expectation of like an ideal man's physique?
Yeah, definitely. I think with the rise, especially in the media, for example, and Hollywood culture and celebrities, I think there definitely is an expectation for men as well as women now to have the sort of perfect body.
So you've said that, you know, there's this expectation for men to live up to now. Have you ever experienced that yourself?
Yeah, I have, yeah. It'd be difficult not to, fall for this sort of idea of wanting to look like what's shown in the media. And I don't necessarily think it's all a bad thing, I must say, because I think in some ways it can be good for men if you want to feel more confident in yourself to go to the gym. But I think where it becomes too far is when it becomes a bit of an obsession and men feel like they have to be a certain way or look a certain way. I actually don't think there's many downsides, or if any downsides, to exercising, because I think it's brilliant for your overall health and your confidence. I think can build your self-confidence. But like I said before, if it becomes an obsession, it can be dangerous.
Thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Thank you very much.
After speaking to Chris, who is part of the fitness community, we now want to investigate a different side of body image and look at fashion. Whilst researching into the fashion community through social media, we found Jack Skinner, a young male fashion blogger. We travelled to South Wales to speak to him. At 18 years old, he embraces the expression of social media, posting fashion content and has become an advocate for body confidence and self-love through his online presence. We want to speak to him about the impact that social media has had on men's body image.
Well, my name's Jack Skinner. I'm 18. I'm from Cwmbran, and I'm a fashion blogger, and I'm currently studying sociology, English and media in sixth form.
Where did your love for fashion and blogging start?
Well, fashion has always resided with my mum. I'd always be taken back by how amazing she looked.
Oh.
And it just kind of started there.
Yeah.
And then as I got older and I started just piecing together my own stuff, that was really when it just took off. And then with blogging, it just started in March 2018 with the massive trend of Instagram and blogging just taking off because people were promoting it so much.
Yeah.
I just started it from there.
Would you like to pursue a career in fashion?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've always loved reading fashion magazines and it's just been a massive, massive hobby of mine, ever since I can remember.
It's nice seeing someone like yourself, young, and you're doing exactly what you want to do. You're expressing yourself, but I think we didn't know when we were looking into it if people would have thought it was a bit strange or in high school because everyone's trying to fit in.
Yeah.
But you're very much with your blog, you're standing out.
Yeah. I've always been a standout character really, it's unapologetic and I've always just done what I wanted to do.
Who are your audience?
Well, it's definitely based around teenagers and young adults that just love fashion, want to be inspired, maybe just want to get more of that trendy look, maybe just want to delve into my wardrobe and just get some inspiration. Men love their fashion as well. I have a lot of male friends that say, oh yeah, I really like this. Yeah, I'm quite inspired by something that I wore. So I just feel in such a female dominated group, it is just brilliant to have someone just coming in there and just inspiring men as well as women,
Do you know any other male bloggers?
I don't. I'm really the odd one out the bunch. I know a lot of males on Instagram that post a lot of outfits, but specifically a blog, I don't know really any.
Do you think social media impacts people's view on body image?
Definitely,
Yeah.
100%. I just feel in this day and age of filters and editing and just wanting to be the best version of you can be online, that the lines can be swayed. People can become a bit less confident within themselves, just looking at looking at someone on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. They can definitely be oh, why don't I look like that? Oh, wouldn't it be better if I was just that bit thinner or had that, coat? Or
I think men aren't so confident with expressing themselves, especially with fashion. Like you say, because it's women, I think for a lot of men it's not masculine to express themselves. Do you think there's pressures on men to look a certain way?
Sometimes, yeah. If you're looking at stereotypical men in magazines, billboards, stuff like that, it's always the chiseled muscles, the perfect photoshopped image of a man. So there's definitely parts of me that think, oh yeah,
there's a pressure.
Yeah, there is a pressure to look a certain way, definitely.
Yeah. Do you feel pressure to look a certain way?
Sometimes I always feel I just wish I could be that just a bit taller. But really, I'm quite confident in who I am and what I wear. Anyone can wear anything. It's just the confidence to pull it off. Yeah.
Do you feel a pressure to be a positive role model on social media?
I try to be as positive as I can. I try to stop any really negativity or complaining. Sometimes I can talk about my feelings on the blog because I feel as though I can reach out to an audience and maybe they're feeling the same way.
After speaking to Jack and Chris, we wanted to discuss what we'd learned so far.
Hi.
Hiya.
Hey.
So something that I found very interesting from those two interviews was that although they're from different areas, so obviously Jack's from fashion and Chris is from fitness, they both have very similar views. So obviously they said they both felt pressures from celebrity culture and social media, and we obviously see that in ourselves as women, but we wanted to see, does that happen for men? And obviously it does.
Yeah, I think something that I definitely didn't consider as well when speaking to Chris was that he thinks that pressure can be a good thing, which I thought was quite interesting because I've never really considered that the pressure that media gives can be positive, But from a fitness point of view, it's kind of something to aspire to, it's something to push yourself to achieve, that he wanted to achieve his goals. So I think I definitely didn't consider that, but it was really interesting when speaking to Chris.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that was something that I never ever would have thought of, but it makes sense because it's almost like the sort of ideal body image. Obviously, when it becomes a pressure, it's bad, but when it's just something to aspire to and to motivate you to be healthy, I guess it can be seen as a good thing. So after speaking to both Jack and Chris, so they're two young lads from sort of the younger generation, we now want to speak to someone from like the fashion industry who's really within it, and get a professional and expert opinion from someone within that field.
During our research, we went to many events that focused on men and their mental health and found a panel talk about masculinity, the Round Table Talk. This is where we met Stephen Arthur, fashion designer and co-founder of The Network. As an established creative within his field, he has a platform that can reach people, and he wants to use this. After hearing his thoughts on masculinity during the panel, we wanted to speak to him further, discussing his thoughts on male body image and mental health from someone within the fashion industry.
Well, my name is Stephen Arthur and I'm a fashion designer and I'm also the creative director of a company called The Network that supports the endeavours of creatives.
As a man, do you feel pressure to look a certain way?
The older that I've gotten,
Yeah.
it's like I've been more comfortable within my own skin and I'm a hell of a lot more confident than I was before, so there's no pressure in feeling a certain way anymore. But there's so many things that are on social media that make you feel a little bit like, oh, I need to do a little bit better, I need to go to the gym a little bit more.
Do you think you felt a pressure to look a certain way because you're in the fashion industry?
Yes. I always felt like I had to pull up this charade of, having to constantly look a certain way. And because of my brand and what my brand was, I had to make sure that I was reflected to what I was promoting out there.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think social media and the expectation on men to look a certain way affects mental health?
Yes, without a doubt. It affects, especially with these filter apps that are happening where, like a lot of these social media influencers, they're like constantly filtering themselves. So they're not even real. People that have grown into that generation, into that era, I feel like they're being affected mentally a lot by it. Thank God that I've got a strong mindset because if I didn't, I'd be probably sucked up into that whole social media hype of looking better and being better. You've got to have that self-love to understand who you are and what you're about, and you cannot let social media define who you are.
Yeah. Do you think that men, especially in the fashion industry, represent the average man?
No.
No?
No, they've never represented it. I read a lot of publications, I read a lot of fashion blogs. That is my job, to overlook what fashion trends are available. And it's just a pity, it's a shame that there's men who do fashion design out there that aren't exploring these avenues where they're speaking about their personal highs and lows and what it means to be a man and what masculinity is to them. There's a lot of women that are in fashion design that are always, fighting these narratives of what, the fashion industry looks like. But a lot of the men don't do that.
In the media nowadays, for women, there's like plus size models and curvy models, and it's getting to that, like, we feel a lot more confident because we see it better represented in women. But looking at men and male plus size models, you still don't really see that. Yeah.
There's not enough plus size male models. I know that ASOS has brought in a good few plus size male models, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But throughout the spectrum, especially within high fashion, there's nothing of that sort.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of work to be done on that aspect of things, definitely.
Do you feel a responsibility to be a positive role model?
Before I didn't want the responsibility. It's the perfect time for me to do so. I'm at the age where I'm more confident with myself. I've always had that instinct in me, but now it's growing into something where it's become a part of me to do so. I see so many young people on a daily, young men on a daily, and when I speak to them about what they want to do, there's always a sense of, restriction. So it's up to me as somebody who's already went through all of that to tell them, it's okay to take this chance.
Yeah.
It's okay to take that opportunity.
Yeah, like you said, it's not that people don't have the power to believe in themselves. It's just sometimes it just takes that that someone else to go, you can do anything.
Yeah,
like, you don't
definitely.
have to. After speaking to Stephen about how men feel restricted when it comes to achieving what they want,
There's always a sense of, restriction.
and how Jack also feels that men don't have the confidence to express themselves,
Anyone can wear anything, it's just the confidence to pull it off.
we wanted to look into this further to gain a professional standpoint on men and their confidence.
We found Debbie Massey, a psychotherapeutic counsellor who works within the mental health sector. We'll visit Debbie in each episode to gain a professional and factual opinion on the topics we cover within our series, and to discuss how these could contribute to mental health. From her, we found the shocking statistic that suicide is the biggest killer in men aged 20 to 49. This made our project more than just an investigative series, but a passion project to bring awareness to a much needed topic.
When talking to Debbie about men's confidence and body image,
guys think they need to be physically strong. Perhaps they think that they need that masculine look, But then when we dig a bit deeper and we perhaps think about some of those people in celebrity culture, perhaps, who look amazing and they look toned and they've got all the muscles, and then we hear that actually inside that guy was not coping. Whatever he looked like on the outside, he was struggling to the point of, and we've seen it, where they have actually taken their own lives. But still this message comes forward of perhaps you need to look a certain way. And when men start to compare themselves unfavourably and realise that they don't live up to what they think they need to be, it can have a huge negative impact on their self-esteem. Something like 78% of men said they had noticed early cues of mental health problems in themselves. 45% said they'd done nothing about it.
speaking to each of our contributors about the pressures on men and understanding how social media can have a negative impact on a man's self-esteem, it's clear that this could have effect on someone's mental health. The stigma is clearly still prominent in today's society.
Hey!
Hi!
Hi!
So when we started this investigation, body image was a massive topic we definitely wanted to cover. As three women from our teens into our 20s, body image has affected our lives massively, with social media kind of being at the centre of that. So we wanted to see how this issue also affected men. From speaking to our three contributors, we definitely got that. They felt that as well, that social media is a massive influence in how you feel about yourself and how you feel you need to look as well.
Well, definitely. We've seen that men don't express themselves, and as women in today's society, we have plus-size models and we're told that women are beautiful and that we don't have to conform. So when we're speaking to Stephen, we got a better understanding of why there aren't male plus-size models. It's because men just don't talk. So throughout our series, we want to raise awareness to get men talking.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think one of the most shocking things I found from this episode is the statistic that 45% of men who recognise that they have early signs of mental health problems don't do anything about it. That's almost half of them that feel like they can't actually go and get that help. And I think it's so eye-opening to see how body image can really affect this as well. It's not just a woman's issue, it's also a man's issue. And, to see how social media can really come into play with that too. And I'm really interested now to cover more topics in our next episodes and find out what other issues men are facing on a day-to-day basis. On the next episode, we investigate loud culture. Follow us to find out what it is and to speak to those who are affected by it most.